The rise of Cobra begins here in a world where the Cobra organization has informed one man's sinister plan to utilize the mysterious alien substance known as Energon sends shockwaves across the globe. Who is Cobra Commander in Energon universe? Where does he come from? And what horrors is he planning to unleash that will rock the world and maybe the universe to its core? Red Hot writer Joshua Williamson, Superman and Duke, and artist Andrea Milana, Impact Winter Rook kick off a second of a 4 action-packed miniseries that will introduce the best and worst of humanity has to offer in the Energon universe. And this is how you repay me. Our people worship only the organic, the gifts of the flesh, and the natural order of life. Numerous science officers died while trying to harvest from the specimen, and yet you lived and you managed not only to integrate it, but it also found uses for the blasphemous technology. Quote, Galabius, Cobra Commander, Volume 1, Issue 1. Amidst the snow-covered mountains, Cobra Commander strides into a place called No Man's Land, a roadhouse bar. Despite the chilling atmosphere, he is donned the classic old snake uniform. The locals mock him, taunting the notorious figure. Unfazed, the bartender addresses him, inquiring, "Hey, stranger, what it'll be?" Cobra Commander turns to the bartender and states, "I have a need for a vehicle. Speak now if you can be of assistance." A local interrupts with a mocking laugh, saying, "Ha, how the hell did you get all the way out here without a truck, buddy?" The local slaps Cobra Commander on the back, taunting remark, "And what's up with that lisp? Dang, circus is in town and no one told us, boys? Good luck, it's cold out there." Little do they realize making fun of Cobra Commander might prove to be a great mistake. The local leaves the bar and Cobra Commander follows suit. Outside, the local's car equipped for the harsh snow conditions. Startling the local, Cobra Commander remarks, "Your vehicle will do nicely as there is an ongoing snowstorm." A dreadful and unpleasant sound echoes, accompanied by the vehicle swiftly departing, leaving a trail of blood splattered across the snowy landscape. Several patrons exit the bar, searching for Jimmy the local. The woman expresses disbelief at his sudden departure, but the unmistakable sound of his truck in the distance catches their attention. Filled with concern, she screams out in distress. A grim scene unfolds as an individual is found murdered, and the Cobra insignia is disturbingly left in the victim's blood. The unsettling discovery reveals that Cobra Commander has not only committed the crime, but has also stolen the victim's vehicle to make a swift getaway. Before the aforementioned events transpire, the narrator takes an overworldly turn, transporting the story to a place that appears unfamiliar, a mysterious and technological advanced environment resembling the Himalayas. This enigmatic setting is none other than Cobra La. With Cobra La, despite its apparent similarities to Earth, complete with shopping, socializing, farming, and transportation, there's an unmistakable and surreal quality that sets it apart as something fundamentally different from the world we know. The community exists in a unique and mysterious realm. The citizens of Cobra La are in an uproar, storming a building and chanting Cobra La. Amidst the chaos, a colossal explosion erupts, intensifying their outrage. Voices rise in anger as they express concerns about letting a perceived monstrosity into their midst. The enraged mob surges towards the targeted building, determined to take action against the perceived threat. A distressed citizen of Cobra La shouts a dire warning, acknowledging that the mob has become too large and is on the verge of breaching their defenses. Fearful of the consequences when the crowd discovers their actions, realizing they have committed crimes against their own principles, the citizen urges a hasty retreat to avoid potential harm to all. In the final plea, the scientist of Cobra La urgently screams, "Retreat," signifying a desperate attempt to withdraw from the impending threat and potential consequences of the mob's discovery. The frantic Cobra La scientist citizen who is shouting a warning is abruptly silenced as a gunshot rings out, the impact of the shot tearing through their head. Bang! The sudden and violent end to their plea underscores the severity of the situation. Cobra Commander, adorned in the distinctive gold helmet with red visor, reveals himself as the predator of the shooting. Asserting authority, he declares, "No one retreats." Another shot follows, enforcing the command. Cobra Commander emphasized the need to protect their researchers, highlighting that despite being scientists, they possess the potential to wield various things as weapons. The urgent focus is on safeguarding their scientific endeavors. Cobra Commander commands the doors to be opened, inviting the approaching intruders into the facility. He reveals a deadly spore created in the very labs they stand, unleashing it upon the unsuspecting Cobra lost citizens. With cold determination, Cobra Commander orders, "Kill the first one who tries to surrender," firing a warning shot as the ominous prelude to the impending conflict. The scene intensifies with the sound of gunfire. As the confrontation unfolds, the spores wreak havoc, burning the Cobra lost citizens. Cobra Commander, with a female scientist by his side, hands her one of the deadly grenades. She's not accustomed to warfare, hesitates, and questions if she should throw it like the spores. Cobra Commander looks over his shoulder with disdain and utters, "You fool," expressing his displeasure with her lack of understanding or hesitation in the heat of battle. As the female scientist hesitates, the grenade unexpectedly detonates in her hand. The explosion not only engulfs her, but also catches Cobra Commander, who is right beside her, in its destructive blast. Boom! The unexpected turn of events results in both the scientist and Cobra Commander being engulfed by the explosion. In a high-tech medical facility, doctors utilize a unique technology involving cobras and various tubes descending from the ceiling. One of these tubes is inserted into the mouth of Cobra Commander, whose face has been severely severed. The advanced medical procedures, unconventional, demonstrate the extent to which Cobra Commander is being treated for his injuries. Organic-looking medical technology is intricately interwoven into Cobra Commander's body, illustrating the desperate measures taken to save him. In dire straits, Cobra Commander's survival hinges on this advanced organic technology, as without it, he would likely face certain death. As part of the unconventional medical procedures, a Cobra is placed on Cobra Commander's body, injecting its venom into the patient. Despite the ongoing organic treatments, Cobra Commander displays a severe anger, perhaps reacting to the intense pain or frustration with the circumstance surrounding his condition. Wrapped in bandages that encase both his body and face with what appears to be an organic IV system intricately threading through him, Cobra Commander meticulously clings to life. The advanced medical interventions, though unconventional, seem to have played a crucial role in keeping him alive against all odds. Cobra Commander, while undergoing the intricate medical procedure, glances over and spots his signature helmet with the iconic visor, a symbol of his command and authority. The recognition of his distinctive Cobra Commander helmet adds a symbolic layer to his road to recovery. Cobra Commander reaches out and holds his classic helmet in his hands, powerful and a symbolic moment as he reconnects with the emblem of his identity and leadership. Pythona, addressing Cobra Commander, instructs him to put on the classic helmet, urging him to hide whatever shame or vulnerability he may feel. That directive emphasizes the significance of the helmet not only as an emblem of authority, but also as a mask to conceal any perceived weaknesses. The scene unfolds with Pythona and two royal guards as they inform Cobra Commander that he has been summoned. Cobra Commander, attentive and obedient, listens to Pythona's commands and ready to comply with whatever instructions he is given. Cobra Commander, flanked by the two royal guards and accompanied by Pythona, walks through the Cobra community. The citizen, in hushed whispers, react with intrigue and speculation at the presence of Cobra Commander, indicating that his appearance is noteworthy and eclipses a response from the community. As Cobra Commander walks through the gates, a voice in the background speaks, revealing, "I found you lost in the outside world, aimlessly searching for meaning, and I brought you to Cobra. Gave you purpose." The speaker is identified as the Lobulus, emphasizing his role in shaping Cobra Commander's destiny and providing him with a sense of purpose. The Lobulus says, "And this is how you repay me. Our people worship only the organic, the gifts of the flesh, and the natural orders of life. Numerous science officers died while trying to harvest from the specimen, and yet you live. You managed to not only interrogate it, but also find uses for the blasphemous technology. Cobra Commander responds asserting I should be respected for that, highlighting his contributions to Cobra Law and expressing discontent about being confined to the bioscience labs despite his leadership abilities. He questions Galabulus about the lack of advancement in ranks. Galabulus explains that there has been leaks about the atrocities within the science compound, attributing the blame to Cobra Commander for potential tarnishing Cobra's ways with outside information. Cobra Commander vehemently denies any disloyalty, affirming his allegiance to Galabulus and Cobra Law. Galabulus sternly declares, lies, I know you incited the riots. I will not tolerate your betrayal. I healed you because I wanted to watch you die with my own eyes. Galabulus accuses Cobra Commander of treachery, expressing a profound sense of betrayal and desire to witness the consequences personally. The royal guards armed with machetes move to attack Cobra Commander, but the skillfully rolls out of harm's way, invading the imminent threat. The quick maneuver showcases Cobra Commander's agility and instinct for self-preservation in the face of danger. Cobra Commander continues to dodge the swimming machete skillfully, even without a weapon. The royal guards persist in their attempt to strike him, but Cobra Commander's evasive maneuvers keep them at a distance, highlighting his agility and resourcefulness in the face of an ongoing threat. In the midst of the skirmish, Cobra Commander asserts, I prefer to let others do the fighting for me. This statement underscores his strategic mindset, relying on the manipulation and leadership rather than the direct confrontation, emphasizing his preference for employing others as instruments of power. Cobra Commander unveils transformer technology, summoning the Insepticons. The Insepticons, a group of robotic creatures, insects, swiftly target the royal guards under Cobra Commander's command, unleashing chaos and adding a formidable element to the confrontation. The Insecticons successfully hold the royal guards at bay, creating a temporary standoff. However, Cobra Commander expresses concern about the dwindling resources and the imminent civil war, emphasizing the urgency for decisive action. The situation appears dire, and Cobra Commander acknowledges the need for a strategic solution to address the escalating challenges. Cobra Commander, exuding confidence in the Transformer technology and the Insepticons, proclaims that these advanced weapons can successfully overcome any challenges that Cobra Law might encounter. Directing his words to Galabulus, Cobra Commander emphasizes that what they are currently witnessing is merely a glimpse of the vast potential these technologies hold. Simultaneously, the Insepticons showcase their destructive prowess, leaving baseball-sized holes in the bodies of the royal guards. This exhibition of force reinforces Cobra Commander's conviction in the formidable technology advantages at their disposal. In a bid to secure Galabulus' trust and navigate a delicate situation, Cobra Commander proposes a strategic bargain. Expressing unwavering loyalty to Galabulus and Cobra Law, he offers to enhance their global influence to accomplish shared objectives. In return, Cobra Commander seeks a new title and permission to undertake a special mission in the outside world, emphasizing the destiny of Cobra as well as his own fate rests in Galabulus' hands, and the plea underscores Cobra Commander's calculated strategy to not only to ensure his survival, but also to contribute to Cobra Law's prosperity through a careful, envisioned mission. Passing through a complex network of gates and stringent security measures, Cobra Commander makes his way towards an enormous mega-sized jail cell. This imposing structure is crafted from a sturdy steel and features formidable doors, indicating its purpose is to securely confine something of utmost significance, according to Cobra Commander's perception. The contents of this colossal cell are shrouded in mystery, closely guarded and unknown to all but a select few. Facing an imposing jail cell, Cobra Commander comments, "You probably hope I was dead." This remark implies the possibility there were expectations or desire for his demise. However, Cobra Commander's defiant presence indicates that he has survived against these expectations, showing his resilience and unwavering determination to persist despite the potential adversaries or challenges. In his display of pride, Cobra Commander positions himself before the captive Megatron from the Decepticons, showing the cutting-edge technology he has introduced to Cobra Law. Megatron, the former leader of the Decepticons, has strategically employed by Cobra Commander to harness the power of Energon, contributing to the development of formidable weapons. Notably, Megatron bears a visible damage, his arms missing, a clear testament to intense battles he has encountered. The scene unveils a tactical alliance between Cobra La and Cobra Commander, underscoring Cobra Commander's utilization of Megatron's technology for their own nefarious objectives. Referencing Transformers Volume 4, Issue 4. Too bad you have served me well, Machine. I was honest with Galabulus. My loyalty to him and Cobra La is steadfast. After each of our sessions, I did my duty and reported my findings. Except the data within your paint a fractured story of galaxies beyond ours. Cobra La is advanced for a civilization on Earth, but it pales in comparison to what's in space. Cobra Commander reflects on the unsuccessful attempts of other science to communicate with Megatron and extract information willingly. Instead of engaging in dialogue, Cobra Commander devises an alternate approach, forcibly extracting the desired information from Megatron's very soul. This highlights Cobra Commander's ruthlessness and determined nature, willing to employ more direct and subversive methods to achieve his goal. In a brutal scene, Megatron is subject to intense electrocution, causing him to scream in agony. Cobra Commander ruthlessly extracts the Energon from Megatron's body, emphasizing the use of extreme and painful measures to achieve his objectives. This depicts the harsh and merciless methods employed by Cobra Commander in his pursuit of power and information. Harnessing the energy forcibly extracted from Megatron, Cobra Commander perceives similar energies beyond their current realm. Driven by relentless pursuit of knowledge and power, he resolves to track down and explore these energies further. Aware that there are other Transformers akin to his captive, Cobra Commander aims to unravel the mystery surrounding the energy sources that empower both him and these extraterrestrial beings. As Cobra Commander successfully acquires the Energon and unlocks all the secrets contained within Megatron, a moment of triumph ensues. With this newfound power, Cobra Commander envisions assembling an unstoppable army that he will lead, asserting that no force within Cobra or any world will be capable of thwarting his ambitions. The closing door marks the culmination of the sinister plan, leaving Megatron standing lifeless, a simple, ruthless, and calculated path Cobra Commander is willing to tread to achieve dominance and control. A surprising twist unfolds as the left eye of Megatron flickers to life, accompanied by a devious smile on his face. This unexpected turn of events suggests that despite the apparent lifelessness of Megatron may still harbor a level of consciousness or hidden agenda. The enigmatic smile hints at the complexity and the potential machinations that Cobra Commander might have to contend with. In the present moment, Cobra Commander gazes the mountain and is contemplating the events that have transpired. Nearby is a truck that the local individual he had killed, a grim reminder of the ruthless actions he took to secure the transportation in the unforging environment. A designated individual entrusted by Galabulus to monitor and safeguard Cobra Commander grows perplexed by Cobra Commander's solitary action. Person questions why Cobra Commander ventured off independently, taking a human life and then inexplicably paused to gaze at the sun. This contemplation reflects the observer's uncertainty and concern about Cobra Commander's unpredictability behavior. Cobra Commander dismisses the inquiries from the person he labels as a grunt and insists on maintaining his current appearance. He explicitly expresses a desire for attention, wanting imbeciles to reveal themselves as he navigates through the world. Despite the suggestion to adapt to a new disguise, Cobra Commander reluctantly rejects the idea, emphasizing a strategic approach to draw attention. Cobra Commander declares that a significant journey lies ahead, and by the time their endeavors conclude, the world will tremble in fear at the mention of the name Cobra Commander. The scene transitions to a desolate swampland characterized by its eerie solitude. Amidst this desolation, a single light emanates from a house situated in the heart of the swamp. The door of the house in the swamp bears the label Dreadnoks. Notes: Cobra Commander #1 brings Cobra La, a controversial element from G.I. Joe the movie, into the Energon universe. The origins of Cobra Commander in the new continuality reveal that he is a wayward human adopted by serpent people of Cobra La. Cobra Commander's experiments on Megatron and the desire to find more Energon lead him to leave Cobra La in search of the power to create even greater weapons. Cobra Commander #1 brings the iconic G.I. Joe villain into the Energon universe, but one major twist may prove controversial among some fans. The Commander's origins in the new continuality are embracing a hotly debated piece of lore from the 1987 G.I. Joe the movie, taking the franchise in a decidedly more supernatural direction. First appearing in G.I. Joe the movie, Cobra proved controversial among Geo fandom for decades after. Cobra took the franchise into a completely new direction, pushing what was previously a military action adventure show into a full-blown sci-fi fantasy territory. Coming from the creative team of Joshua Williamson, Andrea Milana, and Annalisa Leone, and Russ Wooten, Cobra Commander 1 reveals the origins of its character. Readers learn that Cobra Commander hails from the underground society of serpent people known as Cobra La. Revealed to be a wayward human adopted by Serpent Society, Cobra Commander worked as a scientist for Cobra La, developed new weapons from his prisoners, Megatron. His experiment eventually caused disruption within Cobra La, which eventually leads to Commander leaving the wider world to search for Energon to power his new weaponry. By reintroducing the whole concept of Cobra La, Cobra Commander number 1 contains the first Energon user appearance of several notable characters. The first is Pythona, an emissary and assassin for Cobra La who was equipped with poison-tipped claws. Also making their first appearance is Galapagos, the ruler of Cobra La, who is centuries old. The product of bioengineering, Galapagos was the defining characteristic is their lower body, which is entirely the tail of a snake. Cobra Commander himself is scared in a battle with Cobra La descendants who disapprove of his experiments, leading to his familiar masked helmet. Given that Cobra Commander's future with ally Destro is already making Energon-based weaponry through his company M.A.R.S Industry, fans can assume that the pair will eventually join forces to form the terrorist organization known as Cobra. In Cobra Commander number 1, and the future terrorist leader states his ambition to not just conquer the world, but to conquer entire worlds beyond Earth, something that could prove possible as the Energon universe continues to expand. With the stakes never this high before in the franchise, G.I. Joe fans will have to keep reading Cobra Commander to find out what happens next. Next issue, Cobra Commander, Volume 1, Issue 2. Cobra Commander's hunt for the mysterious Energon leads him to a series of dangerous encounters in the swamps of Florida. Presented by Skybound Entertainment, distributed by Image Comics. Cobra Commander, Volume 1, Issue 2. In the Energon universe. In the swamps of Florida, Buzzer and Ripper, two members of the local biker gang, the Dreadnoks, capture and torture a pair of gun runners for information about who they were selling weapons to in their turf. When they refuse to talk, Buzzer murders one of them with his chainsaw. The other tells them they don't know the buyer's name, just they were supposed to meet them in Orlando. The Dreadnoks unite the surviving dealer only to chain him to their tricked out thunder machine and drag him across the ground, killing him. The next day, Cobra Commander and his Cobra La protector investigate the swamps at a nearby gator tour, where Cobra Commander expresses his hatred of his fellow humans. They're too chaotic. What the world needs is order. As the commander trapeze off into the swamp to follow the energized signature, the protector thinks back to when Pythona gave him the assignment, modifying his body in some unseen ways using the organic technology of Cobra La. As the pair argue, they are confronted park ranger, whom the protector attacks on the commander's order. The ranger draws his gun, but the protector is unfazed by bullets and crushes his skull with a simple headbutt. During the skirmish, the commander slips away and stumbles upon the Dreadnok's cabin. His Energon detector beeps, indicating that they too have been experimenting with the alien energy source. At the moment, Buzzer and Ripper return in the Thunder Machine and confront their uninvited guests. The pair tell him that they'll have to pay the toll, but the commander simply pulls out his pistol and fires at the two, causing them to scatter and blowing up the Thunder Machine with a custom-built grenade before taking his leave. The Dreadnoks prepare to chase after him, but they are halted by Zarana, who reminds them that they are part of the swamp is off limits. Going deeper into the swamp, Cobra Commander discovers a large body of water filled with raw Energon. The commander reveals in how his success will be rewarded by Cobra La, or what else he could achieve with all this raw transformative power. However, at that moment, he ends up plunging into the depths of water, where a congregation of energy-enhanced alligators await. Notes: the gun runners mentioning they were selling to some big dude with a flat top, likely referring to Mercer of M.A.R.S, who we met previously in Duke number 1. The issue marks the first time that a non-Cybertronian has referred to Energon by its proper name. How Cobra La knows what is called is unknown, but perhaps Megatron told them. G.I. Joe references. Continuing the trend from Duke, the designs for Ripper, Buzzer, and Zarana are based on their their G.I. Joe Classified Series action figures. The Thunder Machine is a signature vehicle to Dreadnoks from the original A Real American Hero toy line, though its original driver, Thrasher, is nowhere in sight. Ripper is seen snacking on Dreadnok's favorite treat, a pink frosted donut. Zarana's reference to a family meeting suggests we'll soon be meeting her brother Zartan, frequent leader of the Dreadnoks, and/or Xandar, her twin. A segment of the Florida swamps filled with alligators so dangerous that even the Dreadnoks dare not follow. Who could possibly be hiding there? Real-world references. A real gated tours are a common feature of the Floridan tourist trade. Next, Skybound Entertainment, distributed by Image Comics, Cobra Commander, Volume 1, Issue 3, The Energon Universe. The Dreadnoks take Cobra Commander prisoner, but are they truly prepared for what they're about to unleash? Presented by Skybound Entertainment, distributed by Image Comics, Cobra Commander, Volume 1, Issue 3, Inside the Energon Universe. As he wanders through the Everglades in search of Cobra Commander, the Cobra Enforcer curses his charge and hopes he's in pain. At that moment, Commander finds himself in the jaws of a giant Energon-enhanced alligator. He pulls out his guns to shoot the creature, but has little effect as the gator pulls him further underwater. A harpoon shoots down from above and ensnares them both. Meanwhile, Zarana, Ripper, and Buzzer arrive at the Dreadnoks bar for their family meeting. Zarana reminds the rest of the gang that the juice, Energon, is their key to success, but only so long as no one else comes looking for it, like the commander did. At the moment, Zarana's twin brother Xandar arrives with the commander in tow. Buzzer attempts to take off Commander's mask, but is zapped with electricity in response. Zarana then commands Torch to try, but his eponymous tool is unable to do anything more than scorch the outer shell. Zarana points out that while his mask won't come off, the rest of him isn't protected. The Dreadnoks each then take turns torturing the commander, trying to figure out what he knows and what operations and about the Energon. As they do, the commander listens to their conversations and learns more about each of them. Ripper applauds the commander's endurance and muses that they might need to take a more subtle approach. He then paints a smiley face on the commander's mask in his own blood. As Xandar comes in to begin the next round, the commander begins to turn the Dreadnoks against each other, first by telling him that his brother sent him because Zarana doesn't trust him, then revealing to Buzzer that Xandar thinks he's a poser because of his background, and finally taunting that Zarana is losing control of her people. Tired of commander's mind games, Zarana orders the Dreadnoks to take him to the bunker where the doctor is working. However, the commander chooses then to activate his tracking device, fearing what might happen if more people discover the Energon. The Dreadnoks try to get rid of the commander, but the Enforcer has already arrived. The Enforcer says, "I told you to never leave my sight, Commander." The commander says, "I got lost," but Buzzer revs up the chainsaw. Buzzer attacks him with his chainsaw. However, despite the efforts, Buzzer only succeeds in partially removing the disguise, much to the astonishment of the Dreadnoks. The commander informs the Enforcer that the discovered Energon reserves hold sufficient power to fuel the armies of Cobra La. He emphasized that the Dreadnoks are the sole obstacle obscuring their mission to fill globulous objectives. Unwilling to tolerate any opposition to their master, the Enforcer asserts his determination. The Enforcer discards his disguise, revealing his true identity. Revealing his true form, the Enforcer sheds his disguise, appearing in purple Cobra La armor with imposing wings. He is known as Nemesis Enforcer. As Cobra Commander watches with a satisfied grin, Nemesis Enforcer ruthlessly tears into the Dreadnoks, showcasing his formidable power and unwavering loyalty to Cobra La. Notes: the snake that the Nemesis Enforcer kills on the first page is shown to have the same glowing purple eyes as the alligators that attack Cobra Commander, showing that the effect of Energon on the local wildlife is widespread. Cobra Commander mask is rigged with electricity to prevent it from being removed, a trait carried over from a Real American Hero cartoon as seen in episodes such as Cold Slither. Xandar references his and Zarana's brother Zartan, leader of the Dreadnoks. Zarana states that he's currently undercover, which fits the Master of Disguise. Buzzer's backstory as a Cambridge Academy who became a biker while researching them is ripped directly from Buzzer's original file card. The issue also sees the speech pep with more British collocation. Cobra Commander Enforcers is revealed to be Nemesis Enforcer, another classic Cobra Law character that originates from the G.I. Joe the movie. Transformers references. Zarana poses as an Energon cube, making the first time that the substance has been seen in the form in the Energon universe. Next issue, presented by Skybound Entertainment, distributed by Image Comics, Cobra Commander, Volume 1, Issue 4, The Energon Universe. The Energon universe is in danger. Cobra Commander has found a new ally, willing or not, that may just make him unstoppable. Unless, of course, someone is one step ahead of him. Cobra Commander discovers the secret to controlling Energon, but will he live long enough to use it? Presented by Skybound Entertainment, distributed by Image Comics. Cobra Commander, Volume 1, Issue 4, The Energon Universe. Under duress, Ripper leads Cobra Commander to a bunker where the Dreadlocks have been keeping a scientist, forcing him to experiment with Energon. The scientist says, "Are you here to save me, Cobra Commander?" Yes. The scientist says, "Thank you. Thank you. Those brutes took me. Those Dreadnoks kidnapped me and threw me down here to work." The commander says, "You don't have to worry about them now. They are being dealt with." The scientist thanks Cobra Commander, believing he's come to rescue him, and explains how the Dreadnought would harvest a raw energon from the swamps. Then he would convert it into new forms of energy. The Dreadnoughts wanted him to make some energon, but he soon found out that it was possible to create new forms of the substance by diluting it with other forms of radiation to create a less pure but still useful form. He demonstrated this by electrifying a shard of pink energon, converting it into blue cube form. Cobra Commander places it before his insectoid robots, which quickly devour the cube and are transformed by the energy. Pleased with the results, the commander tells the scientist that they'll need to get him a much bigger lab. Meanwhile, Nemesis Enforcer has killed most of the Dreadnoks, leaving just Zarana, Xandar, Torch, and Buzzer alive to face the Behemoth. Knowing they can't take him on in a fight, Xandar concocts a plan to distract Nemesis by blowing up a bottle of their unrefined energon. The plan works, allowing the surviving Dreadnoks to escape on an airboat. Nemesis decides to let them go and meets up with the commander at the bunker, who tells him of their good fortune. With the scientist's work and the Dreadnoks' list of buyers, they can bring the greatest army the world has ever seen to Cobra La. However, Nemesis then turns his claws on Cobra Commander. In the commotion, Ripper escapes and flees into the swamps. The commander pleads for his life, proclaiming his loyalty to Cobra La, but Nemesis balks at this and reveals that Globulus never trusted the commander, and he is no longer needed now that they have the scientist. The battle begins with Nemesis Enforcer pounding the ground, triggering an avalanche. Cobra Commander expresses his dismay at Globulus's betrayal, insisting on his loyalty to Cobra La as he releases one of his insectoids. Nemesis swats the insect away and mocks Cobra Commander as pathetic. Nemesis Enforcer remarks that even with Cobra Commander's mask, he could discern the falsehood in his words. He asserts that his world is pure and that Cobra Commander is an outsider, would only tarnish it with his deceit. Meanwhile, Cobra Commander hides behind a tree, seizing Buzzsaw's chainsaw. Nemesis declares that with the scientists in their possession, they no longer need Cobra Commander. He challenges Cobra Commander's loyalty to Cobra La, suggesting that dying for the cause should be a source of pride. Despite Cobra Commander's attempt to attack with the chainsaw, it proves ineffective against Nemesis Enforcer. Nemesis Enforcer seizes Cobra Commander by the head, tearing off his mask as electricity courses through him. Rather than weakening him, it appears to invigorate him, making him even stronger. Cobra Commander pleads once more, begging to be taken back, promising to explain. However, Nemesis Enforcer remains resolute, declaring that Cobra Commander's true home was never with them. As he slashes and cuts into Cobra Commander's flesh, it's evident that there will be no mercy. Nemesis Enforcer seizes Cobra Commander soaring into the air before hurling down in a relentless descent, slamming Cobra Commander into the unforgiving ground. As Cobra Commander expresses to the Enforcer that he will simply not lay down and die, Nemesis Enforcer's cold response is a taunting challenge. Then run, human, run. Cobra Commander defiantly declares that he will not flee from Nemesis Enforcer or anyone else, asserting he has his own secret weapon, the Energon. Despite the punishing fall, Cobra Commander miraculously survives and seizes control. With a determined resolve, he merges with the insectoids, fashioning a mechanical glove around his hand and infusing it with corrupt energon of the scientist. As Nemesis Enforcer descends from above, Cobra Commander raises his hand, channeling the power of Energon to release a powerful blast at his adversary. Boom! Cobra Commander then finds Ripper limping away and forces him to tell him who the Dreadnoks were planning on selling the Energon to. Ripper tells him it was a bloke with the biggest company in the world, Destro of M.A.R.S. Industries. Notes: on the first page, Cobra Commander is seen wiping away the bloody smile that was painted onto his mask in the previous issue. Cobra Commander little insect bots were seen in issue 1, where they were used to kill Galobulus's royal guards. This issue finally begins to intersect with Destro and M.A.R.S. plotline, first featured in Duke, and will soon be followed up in an upcoming Destro series. While Energon has traditionally been depicted as pink in Generation 1 inspired media, Energon has also been depicted as blue in prior media. This issue both has a different forms of Energon. Next, presented by Skybound Entertainment, distributed by Image Comics, Cobra Commander Volume 1, Issue 5, The Energon Universe. He has the power, he has the weapons, and now he has the army. What's next? The World miniseries finale, The Rise of Cobra Commander. To build an army, Cobra Commander makes a deal with a powerful ally that can't be trusted. Now that's it started, can the Cobra threat ever be stopped? Presented by Skybound Entertainment, distributed by Image Comics, Cobra Commander Volume 1, Issue 5, The Energon Universe. One by one, M.A.R.S. facilities across the country have been attacked and raided, much to the irritation of Destro, who wishes to know who's responsible. Mercer reports that he's heard rumors of a new player on the scene, and the latest attack on their headquarters wasn't about stealing anything but leaving a message. He brings in the messenger, Ripper, whom Destro recognized as one of the Dreadnoks. Initially, Destro believes the biker game has betrayed him, but Ripper insists they're victims of the same madman. He then gives Destro a message from the victimizer, an invitation to meet. Destro arrives at the meeting place at an undisclosed small American town with Mercer, Ripper, and a squad of M.A.R.S. troopers in tow. However, upon arrival, the town appears to be empty. Suddenly, a small laser turret springs from the ground, quickly eliminating the troops. Mercer insists he and Destro retreat, but the chopper they arrived in is blown up. They are then greeted by their host, Cobra Commander. Destro orders Mercer to kill the commander, but before he can choke the life from the masked menace, the commander insists that Destro hear why he invited him. Destro reluctantly agrees, much to Mercer and Ripper's chagrin. The commander brings them to an underground lab where Dr. Laszlo Vandermeer, the scientist he rescued from the Dreadnoks, and a team of researcher experiments with Energon. The commander introduces Destro to the doctor, who whispers a plea to kill him. Cobra Commander reveals that he's been watching the many players across the world, all struggling for money and power, and believes they should be united under common leadership. He then unveils one of the experiments they've been working on, powering Destro's battle android troopers with Energon. In a demonstration, the supercharged bat kills dozens of the commander's recruits with ease. Wishing to gain the power of the Energon for himself, Destro agrees to ally with the commander. The commander invites him to join him as he changes into the uniform Galavius gave him and meets with a collection of his recruits at the town hall. He gives a speech to those in attendance, saying that they were once lost like him and that they came here looking for purpose, but he found his purpose, and now he will share with all of them, for together they are Cobra. In Cobra La, Galabius and Pythona are still reeling from the escape of the mechanical monster. Entering the commander's secret lab, they discover the creature's extraterrestrial origin, fearing the idea that beings from an entire mechanical world, the antithesis of Cobra La, already on Earth. Galabius decides they must take their war to the stars and launch an organic probe to find their home world. Notes: this issue jumps ahead an undeterred amount of time from the previous issue to account for Cobra Commander's newfound resources. The story also takes place after the events of Duke, potentially placing it further in the Energon universe timeline than any other issue. In a further timeline shenanigans, the scene in Cobra La takes place after Megatron's escape in the Transformers Energon universe special story. Where this place Cobra Commander in the context of the Transformer timeline remains to be seen. The M.A.R.S. and R&D R&D facility corporate headquarters destroyed at the start of the comic were previously seen in the issues of Duke. Teased in the photos on Cobra computer are the Crimson Twins, Tomax, Zaman, and the Arashakage Ninja Storm Shadow, setting up the characters before their debuts in the upcoming Destro and Scarlet series, respectively. Destro references Duke's mention of a robot that turned into a jet, recounting the events of Transformers 2, which Destro learned about in Duke 5. The images of Cybertron, Galabulus, Seas are the same ones we saw back in the first issue. While the small town they operate out of is never named in the issue, it calls to mind to the town of Springfield, frequently based operation for Cobra in a wide variety of G.I. Joe media. Cobra Commander calls himself a salesman, a reference to his Marvel backstory as a used car salesman. Dr. Vandermeer is a character from the original G.I. Joe animated series, The M.A.R.S. Device. Cobra Commander finally returns to wearing his classic uniform that he got back in issue 1 with two notable additions, the Cobra logo and the cape and the staff he would sometimes wear in the original cartoon. Pythona's organic ship is based on a Cobra-like creature/vessel that appeared in G.I. Joe the movie. Next, presented by Skybound Entertainment and distributed by Image Comics, Destro, Volume 1, Issue 1 of the Energon universe.